This is Anatomy Talk with David and Thomas, and we're going to explain the processes of the neuromuscular junction. Alright, so what we will be explaining today is the neuromuscular junction, the structure, as you can see here, as well as what's going on, and the whole process. So the neuromuscular junction, remember that so each muscle fiber is innervated by a motor neuron at the neuromuscular junction. So this point of contact is basically an action potential is released and stimulates the sarcolemma, and the primary stimulus for this action is the release of the acetylcholine, which is a neurotransmitter. So just a basic overview. Starting off here, we have an action potential, which is going to be going down the neuron, and this is the presynaptic terminal. This is the postsynaptic terminal. The actual membrane itself is the postsynaptic membrane, the presynaptic membrane. We also have the synaptic cleft, which is the space between the neuron and the muscle fiber. And then also we have synaptic vessels containing acetylcholine and sodium ligand gated channels, as well as calcium voltage gated channels. Voltage gated channels.
Thomas said before, we have an action potential that comes down here, and to put into perspective all the different processes that happen, the calcium gate here is voltage gated, and the way that it opens up is from the voltage that comes from the action potential. It opens up this calcium voltage gated, and therefore the calcium molecules come through this voltage gate, and they bind to these synaptic vesicles that contain the acetylcholine, which is a neurotransmitter. And once the calcium binds to the synaptic vesicle, the acetylcholine diffuses through the process of acetylcholine diffuses through the presynaptic membrane through exocytosis. It binds to this ligand-gated channel, the sodium ligand-gated channel, which allows sodium to come into the postsynaptic membrane, which in this case is a muscle cell. And so we go on throughout the rest of the process, and there's an enzyme called acetylcholinease that attaches to this postsynaptic membrane, and it removes the acetylcholine from the synaptic cleft, and it breaks it down into acetic acid and choline. The choline is then symported with the sodium ions back into the presynaptic terminal, and it's going to be recycled to make acetylcholine, and the acetic acid, it diffuses away from the synaptic cleft. Lastly, the acetylcholine is then reformed within the presynaptic terminal, and using acetic acid, it generates from metabolism and forms choline recycled from the synaptic cleft. Acetylcholine is then taken up back into the synaptic vesicle, and the process happens all over again.